Hi there, welcome to release question number 73 for the Algebra 2 CST questions. You'll notice I put a grid on this one because I think it's going to be helpful to actually draw a graph. But here's what it says. It says given the equation y equals x to the n power where x is greater than 0 and n is less than 0, which statement is valid for real values of y? So real values, we can't use imaginary numbers, in other words, stuff like that. And so let's use an example, or let's make this a little more concrete, a little more simply understood, I would say, and plug in a number, an easy number to deal with where x is actually greater than 0. So here's an example of an equation like this with specific numbers plugged in. So where x is greater than 0, we could go with, let's just go with 2. That'll be pretty easy to deal with. And n is less than 0. So this power is going to be negative then. So we have, let's go with -1. This is just a sample of what we got. What is y going to equal if that's the case? So I'm going to put some examples I think will be even more helpful. This is the same thing as 1 over 2 to the positive 1. Remember, you can write that as a fraction, anything as a fraction, by putting it over 1. Negative powers go in the opposite place in the fraction as positive powers. And so this would equal 1/2. Does that effectively eliminate any of our choices? Which statement is valid for real values? And we can assume that the way it's worded, we can say basically any real values of y. Is this going to be greater than 0? It looks like yes, that might be the answer. Is it equal to 0? No, not equal to 0. This is saying for any real values, essentially is what we got here. Is it going to be less than 0, the y value? No, it's not less than 0. Less than or equal to 0? No. So we just did one example. We eliminated 3 of the 4 choices. That means the one we're left with has to be the correct choice. You could do this with any values you wanted to, as long as x is greater than 0 and is less than 0. Let's try one other example just because we can. Let's try 1 over, or let's try 3 to the -4. We can put this over 1, think of it as a fraction, flip the place in the fraction there, and make it a positive power. And then 3 to the 4th would be 1 over 81. So it's getting pretty close to 0, but it doesn't actually equal 0, and it's definitely not less than 0. Still greater than 0. Crater Lake, beautiful place. You should go there and visit it someday. But still, it's going to be y is greater than 0. Choice A for number 73.